Hey rock stars, this is your host Alana G. Welcome to the Uncapped Potential podcast. If you are a ready rebel, an entrepreneur, then this podcast is for you. It is time to tap into your uncapped potential. I'm just going to do a little boogie vibration. All right, welcome back. Alana G, the Uncapped Potential, talking about one of my favorite topics. I put it out to my community. What would they love to hear? And they wanted to hear about when I speak about vibration. For some reason, it just makes sense to me that everything has a frequency. It has a vibration. So what does vibration mean? Interesting. Well, I can tell you a few things on how you can really witness vibration in its purest form. If you are in a room and someone walks into that room and they're not in the greatest of moods, or just something about them isn't quite right, and they walk in the room, that feeling that you feel, that's called a vibration. So everything has a radiation of a vibration, including your food, including the water you drink, including trees you hug. Like if you go hug a tree, it feels good. I know everyone judges the tree hugging hippies, but I tell you this right now, when you go hug a tree, it feels so grounding and so delicious. I love doing it myself. I'm now a tree hugging hippie. I'm okay with it. But everything creates a vibration. So there's a vibrational scale of emotions as well, which I have spoken about before with Dr. David Hawkins, where every emotion actually holds a vibration. And that's why you can feel other people and where they're at in their emotional scale. And if they're, if they're down if they're having some lower emotions, sometimes you can feel that with them. So there are different types of emotions that have different frequencies that are, emulating out, which is a vibration, which is a frequency, and everything. You get the drift. So when you start to look at all areas of your life and what frequency vibration of your all areas of your life is sitting at. So like with your water source, let's just go to the tap. Water, let's think about that for a moment. If we were to reverse how that water got there and where it came from, what we can start to see is there's this frequency that would be created through dead pipes, rusted pipes, stagnant water, like that creates probably no frequency, to be honest. But then it's coming out of your tap. So you've got to think, and chemicals, do they have a higher frequency or a lower frequency? I guess you get to decide what that would feel like if you were to think about it and digest it, what frequency that would be sitting at. So that means that you take that into your body, and then that creates the frequency of your body. So this is why I'm a huge advocate for clean water. I partner with a company actually that creates one of the best water outputs ever. And it's a massive thing in my life. It is a pivotal moment in my life that when drinking this clean water, or drinking this high vibrational water, I should say, because it actually is ionized, so it's brought back to life, and so it has an active vibration. I've seen massive shifts in that time that I was drinking it, but I also have seen that with a lot of other people also drinking it. Like I just see this rapid growth, because your body, your 80% of water, vibration goes up because you're drinking active, high frequency water. You can actually test it. It's pretty cool. And so, you start to play at a different frequency. You start to personally be at a different frequency. So your world around you matches your frequency. So when you think about if you're in an angry state, this is simple way to think about it. What starts to happen around you? Like things start to go to shit. You just happen to trip over, or just these things that start to happen when you're in that state. If you're not being contained with your anger and actually utilizing it in a healthy way, and you're just radiating that and putting that out as a frequency, you can start to see things be different. And same with love. You put love out, you start really radiating love, you start being love, you start gifting love, the world just looks brighter and things start on the outside looking just delicious and bright. And I'm going to touch a little bit on food as well, because there are different forms of food. Now, for me, this makes complete sense, and I don't understand really how people don't understand this, but I'm going to just do my best to hopefully give you some insight that makes you understand how I see it. So if there's two types of apples, right? One apple has been sitting in a freezer for 7 years, or a dark shelf. I'm pretty sure they freeze it in the I'm not going to name names, but supermarkets. So they keep these apples stored for a period of time, up to 7 years. And then it comes out and sits on a shelf in a chaotic space inside 4 walls, bright lights, all of the things. So if you thought you were that apple, how do you think you would feel? Because that's vibration. So it's got this vibration. It's also taking on the vibration of everything that's happening around it. This is what we do. We're empathic. We feel what other people are feeling, and sometimes we take it on. Or the organic apple, right? It's sitting there on this luscious tree outdoors in the sun, and you pick that apple and you eat it. What are the vibration differences? That's frequency. That's the way that you can start to become conscious about the choices that you make, because that apple that you eat is going to come into your body and it's going to either amplify your frequency or not. And so you start to really think about, okay, well, how does this make me feel? Like, how is this going to make me feel? There are foods that are highly not holding a vibration at all. Like, they're just dead food, right? So what you want to look for in physically is, the simple, pure form of food and water. But when we come to business, and this is something I want to really speak about around the vibration in business, is that we hire teams. And right now I've got this incredible team that's helping me with this podcast. And the thing is with this team is they match the frequency of what I want to create. So that's when we got to start to be intentional with the people we invite into our spaces to work alongside us or to create with us. So when we create a team, as digital entrepreneurs, we might have VAs, personal assistants, digital, content creators. We've got to make sure that they're on the same frequency, because what you're putting out in your content is also a frequency. It also will have a resonant of a vibration based on the intent of what has been put out. So when you're gifting the responsibility of others to support you, you've got to make sure that they're radiating at the same frequency or above, so that they bring to the world an aligned frequency to the business and the message that you're creating. On a personal story, I wanted to share about a time that I hired someone that, was very cheap, very grateful, created some good content for me, but in their own personal journey, were having a lot of struggles, and a lot of that vibration of their struggles started to interrupt our workspace. And when they put content out, because there was no excitement and joy in their position in my business and helping with my business, it wasn't actually getting any traction. You can actually really look at what vibration you're putting out on social media based on the responses. Actually, you really could test it with 2 pieces of content and raise your vibration and your frequency and your intention, because intention is a frequency of having it really inspire and empower someone, and put that out and see what happens. And you could just do a willy-nilly one as well. That sometimes works. But again, it's recognizing that everything has a vibration and a frequency, and sometimes we hold ourselves back from being in our highest vibration. So if everything is just energy, and that is all that business is as well, so food is energy, water is energy, how can we really sharpen our frequency and our vibration in giving energy outward, so that we can sharpen and grow our business more effectively? wealth, abundance is just energy. It sits above peace actually as a frequency. And so to get there, we alchemize the parts of us that are still holding on to the lower density frequencies. And some of those are like judgment. I have it too. You get scared about what you're going to post. I mean, you have these normal human experiences because we are human. However, what you can do to shift that is just to have a little boogie, to have a dance, to change the frequency, but also know it's just energy. So when you're putting a post out or content out for your business or going out and speaking to someone, like all you're doing is gifting energy. And so no matter what it is that you're saying, it doesn't really matter as long as your intent and you're in the vibration of the purest form that you can be, like in love, or you wanting to inspire someone, or contribution or peace, you're giving love. When you're in that, it doesn't really matter what you say because you're being received in that frequency anyway. So if the game is just to raise your frequency and your vibration in each day so that you can, be met at that frequency, some of the tips and tools and things that I've done in my journey that have really inspired and empowered me to raise my frequency is obviously the physical ones I've spoke about, but then there's also, gratitude each morning, waking up and actually looking around and being super grateful for everything that is now, and like making a list of all the things you're grateful for and start to embody that as a practice. You can do it, set your alarm, do that a few times out the day. Gratitude will actually take you to a hertz that sits above love. So frequency output, it's quite a high it's quite a high frequency to be in gratitude. So if you're struggling to be grateful for things, I think it's really important that you know that it is just a practice. So it means that you have to practice it. It means you start by doing and do it again and do it again and do it again. And then it becomes your natural state. And also remembering like fun, joy. It's like the easiest way to raise your vibration. Like get out and make time for doing the things you love, and your life will radically transform. That's why, people that surf all the time, they're just so happy and they're loving their lives because they do what they love. They get out there and they make sure that they make time for what they love. And so their life is more vibrant. I know because my cousin's one of them. He goes surfing all the time. And whenever I'm in a bit of a state, he always is like, come on, let's go surfing, cuz. And it's true. You get in the water and like everything dissipates and it's all good. Water in the ocean has a frequency. It actually is the frequency of abundance, funny enough. So water in its purest form, in its live, active form, is abundance. It's mirrored the frequency of abundance. So how cool is that you can actually just go and swim in the deep, delicious ocean or get under a waterfall and just know that you're infusing your frequency with the vibration of abundance. That's powerful. Something I love doing as well and always brings me back to my purest vibration, my highest vibration, my joy, my bliss, my love is contribution and inspiration. So when you go out and actually be of service to someone else, and how, in your depths of whatever's going on for you, when you go and give, you just all of a sudden get like these rushes of love and joy, and you just come to a higher level of vibrational state, so you feel more at peace. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of frequency shifting and the subtle art of frequency shifts. So if you close down your eyes for me for a moment, take a deep breath in and then exhale out. And just do this with me one more time. Inhale and out. Can you feel the difference in your frequency? It's the conscious understanding of just bringing presence and breath or dance or gratitude or play or prayer to the now, that can really, it's like the subtle art. It just shifts your frequency in that just little bit way. And you could do it on a big scale if you want to go and fucking scream and dance and shout, smack things. Like, you're going to feel energy shifts in doing it on a grand scale as well. Jump out of a plane. You're going to feel a huge frequency shift. But you don't need to do it in the extremes. You can just do it in the subtleties. And over time, your own personal frequency raises. And so drink incredible, hydrating, active live water. I really highly recommend it. That's going to, your 80% water, do it. It's going to help you raise your frequency. Your external world's going to shift and change because your frequency is running at a different level. Eat good food. Like, be mindful of the foods that you're eating. If you're getting organic foods, you know that you're going to have more active, live, nutrient frequency dense foods. Buying handmade items, clothes that people like have put a lot of love and passion, like, support other entrepreneurs, because you know that their items that they've created for you have been done with like this passion and love and purity, and just by wearing things that are, people have put their love and soul into is going to shift your own energetic field as well. That just seems so normal to me to understand. Is if you're getting things out of a factory, I'm pretty sure that frequency, that energy that item holds may be very different to the creative clothing that someone's put so much effort into creating for you out of their passion and their purpose. So why am I talking about vibration? Well, it's just super important to understand that if everything is in alignment to the desired outcome that you are wanting to be, wanting to become, wanting to create, like as entrepreneurs, as rock stars in the world, wanting to gift a big vision and purpose and just have a good, healthy, happy life, it's important to go to the micros. It's important to look at the little mini day-to-day tiny little things that we can do for ourselves, and check if it's in alignment to who we are becoming or the world that we're creating. One of the topics, obviously, that I speak about a lot is wealth consciousness. It's about understanding the frequency of money and how what you do in the day-to-day, the people that you have in your team, your food, the clothes you wear, the behaviors that you choose, the environments and the spaces that you put yourself in, creates a imprint of a vibration on you and within you, and creates your frequency. And so we are actually right now, we're creating this 2-day masterclass where we get to talk about from, many different aspects. So vibrationally with the environment, like how can you better help the environment, but also make an impact in your own environment through non-toxic kind of space way of thinking, and supporting, just being really conscious with what you're doing in the world, basically, in environment, and then also diving deep into health, and then going into wealth health. Like, how are you tracking on your money? Like, where are you tracking in your wealth health? Like, what's your vibration around money? What's your vibration around creating it? And what can we do in our own physical journey, but also our entrepreneur journey, to support us to take that and have bigger impact in our own bank account, so that we can have bigger impact globally across the world. Basically, we'll be speaking to that for 2 days, and it's a free event. So if you have caught this podcast and you want to check that out, like, get in the DMs or find a way to contact me, get on my socials, because the power of understanding this information will really transform your life and the way that things happen. You start to become more intentional with your journey, and you start to become more intentional with your day to day, and you will see the shifts happen outside of you, because everything is a reflection of what's going on inside of you, or how you're radiating. And sometimes, you've got to just learn how to shift the gears and shift it up. I'm going to finish with one story, and this was when I first discovered vibration and frequency. And I wanted to create $10,000 in the digital space in 30 days, because I was like, yeah, if everything's a frequency, well, I'm going to go for that. That's going to be my ceiling. That's going to be the thing that I need to happen to see that this stuff works. And every day I put myself in certain vibrational places and spaces that will help me. So one of the things I did was I talked to the trees, and I told the trees what I was doing. I also stood and meditated in a space on this cliff, on this overlooking a valley, where there was no interrupting frequency. So if you can think about, phones have a frequency, that's how you get to talk to each other. So it's not really that weird. You guys are doing it every day. Think about it. So you're talking, it was no interruption of other frequencies. There was not many people around. There was no towers around. I was on this cliff in the nature, and that's where I would put the message out of what I wanted to create, so that it could be received quicker and faster by, the universe. And and I would just embody it. I ate really clean at the time. I was working on an organic farm, eating really organic foods. I'd switched my water up, and I just put so much energy into like being on a higher frequency. I played, I did gratitude, I manifested, and I 100% had the logic mind come in and want to put me into scarcity, wanted me to put me into judgment and fear and all the things that would have, kept me at the lower end of my vibration, which wouldn't have created the reality that I wanted. So I had to master it. Like, it's not something you just go, boom, I'm going to be this fucking energy guru, it comes with practicing each day to like make that your natural state. So the more you do it, the more you become it. And so I did that, and I literally manifested what I desired in 33 days, not 30 days. So how cool is the fact? So I tested the theory, and this is what I want to encourage you guys to do, is I want you to test the theory. If what I say is true or could be true, like, how would you know unless you go and test it out? So why don't you try, a month's worth of each thing, going, what does this feel for me? Like, how does this feel for me? What do these people feel for me? Do they resonate at a frequency that I want, that I want in my life or in my business? Does this food resonate at the frequency that I want in my body? Like, is it actually gonna serve me? And have a little look and shift it up, and also practice those takeaways of like gratitude and actionable steps, like playing, like go and play for like 8 hours of the day instead of hustle, and see how that shifted. That was a big part of that 30-day goal that I had, is I had to go away from hustle mode and into play mode and flow mode and trust mode, and really create from that space. And it was transformational, and it worked. And I would love for you guys to like go and do it, and then come back and tell me how it was. And if you wanted to join us on the 2-day wealth health, wealth on tap, 5D frequency upgrades around this topic, there'll be a replay available. Come and mention that to me, and I'll get you access for that as well. And yeah, lots of love. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you loved it, go and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Write some comments, get in the inbox, say hi, and share it with your friends. Like it, share it. Tag some people. Would love that so much. And have the most magical day.